How do you guys feel about Eric Adams dropping out of the race?
I'm happy
Why?
because I can't stand him. I can't believe, like, when he ran initially, that I voted for him. And if I'm being honest, I voted for him because he's black. But then when he got in office and I saw what he wasn't doing, I'm like, I can't believe I voted for him.
Do you think this helps Andrew Cuomo, helps Mamdani?
Mamdani.
You think it helps Mamdani?
I think.
How so?
I think so. I mean, he just seems like he has fresh ideas, and we just need some, like, new blood. Cuomo is like, I just don't trust him. So I'm ready for some new blood.
And you don't think the folks who would vote for Eric Adams will go to Andrew Cuomo?
They might, because he's like, his dad was part of the old guard, so I can see folks voting for him just because of that.
Enough to make a difference, though, to beat Mamdani?
I hope not.
The significance of Adams dropping out of the race, does this surprise you?
It is something that has been rumored for quite some time, that this would be the month, this would be the week, this would be the day, and today we've finally seen it. Yet it is also an encapsulation of so much of what has characterized Eric Adams' mayoralty, is decisions at the behest of Donald Trump and his billionaire donors and at the expense of working-class New Yorkers. And what we see in this moment is very much what we saw the day we started this campaign on October 23rd. A necessity to finally stand up to the days of big money and small ideas being what characterizes City Hall, and instead delivering for the very working-class New Yorkers that are being priced out of that same city.
Zohran Mamdani has, for all intents and purposes, already won the New York mayoral election. That may sound premature, but the facts support it. He decisively beat Andrew Cuomo in the Democratic primary, capturing the progressive momentum and locking up the party's base. After Mayor Adams, who had been running as an independent, pulled out of the race entirely, Mamdani is now effectively unopposed by any candidate with comparable infrastructure, fundraising, or grassroots energy. Adams's withdrawal is seismic. It signals that even the moderate S lane is conceding to Mamdani's ascendancy. With Adams out, the anti-Mamdani vote is fragmented, and Cuomo is scrambling to consolidate, but he lacks the legitimacy and energy Mamdani already commands. In effect, Mamdani has inherited both the Democratic machine's backing and the progressive movement's momentum, making his path to victory all but inevitable. Here's a clip from the New York Times explaining how Zohran's plan to have government-run grocery stores would work and how New York might actually benefit from it. In short, his vision is to treat food access like a public utility. The city would establish a network of municipally owned grocery outlets that don't operate for profit. They wouldn't pay rent or property taxes, and overhead would be lower under public management. The idea is to buy in bulk or via centralized warehousing and pass on savings to consumers. In neighborhoods underserved by quality grocers, these public stores would offer staple goods at lower prices, reducing the burden of food insecurity and price gouging. If executed well, such stores could also drive competition pressures on private grocers to keep prices fair, while anchoring better nutrition and supply stability in low-income areas.
You got Slim Jims?
New York City is talking about groceries.
It's very expensive to shop at a local supermarket.
Anything you buy is high.
8.9% higher over the last year, to be exact, if you like eggs, meat, poultry, and fish, and over 5% if you like dairy.
We're a family of 6. The trip here used to cost me like $40. Now it's like at $97.
The fruit and everything is so expensive.
The prices and the discontent are why Zohran Mamdani, the frontrunner and Democratic candidate for mayor of New York City, has made addressing grocery prices a key part of his platform.
Grocery prices are out of control. As mayor, I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores.
Grocery stores?
Grocery stores.
City-owned grocery stores?
But the proposal has attracted some criticism from the private grocery industry and from Mamdani's fellow mayoral candidates.
It's going to dismantle our independent supermarkets, our bodegas. When you start dismantling and having government displace workers, now you're feeding the problem.
Why would you subsidize rich people's purchase of food? Why would you do that? Well, that's the socialist ideology.
A poll of New Yorkers showed that 66% of people supported the idea of government-run grocery stores. But this idea of the government intervening in the grocery sector isn't actually as novel as some New Yorkers may think.
The government already has a lot of control over the food system right now. Whether your children go to public school, whether you're on SNAP benefits, whether you shop at a military commissary exchange program, the government is already involved in the food system.
New York's many national origins have enriched the city with a world of variety in foods, and among the finest.
Since the 1930s, the city government has also used public property to rent to private grocers at below market value. The idea for the markets was first floated by Mayor LaGuardia during the Great Depression to combat high grocery prices, and also to clean up the streets by forcing pushcarts indoors.
We have 6 public markets right now that the city owns, or is the landlord through the New York City Economic Development Corporation. Many people don't know that. Arthur Avenue is one, Essex Market on the Lower East Side.
Viva Frutas is a small grocery store inside Essex Market. It's been around for over 20 years and is an example of one of those decades-long government initiatives to keep food prices low.
We have a great rate for our rent here. It's affordable, so that's why we're able to be in this place, and keep our prices a little bit lower. My clientele are mainly like low-income family, people that have benefits from the government.
Would a store like this be able to exist just across the street, but renting from a private owner?
No, there's no way.
And why not?
Because the rent is too high in this neighborhood.
We live in Chelsea. We come down here.
Why do you come all the way down here?
The prices are cheaper.
Zohran Mamdani, one of the mayoral candidates, has proposed potentially putting a government-run grocery store in each borough so that he can keep prices low. I'm curious what you think about that.
I think it would be great. It's very expensive to shop at a local supermarket. It would help a lot of people that don't make a lot of money.
Cuando yo escuché eso de esa bodega que va a poner el gobierno, de una vez pensé en que eso no va a afectar mucho a los pequeños negocios.
Jose Dario is from the Dominican Republic and has owned bodegas here in New York City since 1994. He worries a government store opening nearby would ultimately put him out of business.
Yo no puedo competir con una bodega de gobierno. El gobierno te va a dar unos precios demasiado baratos. Con los años que tengo en este país, tratando de sobrevivir, echar para adelante, yo voy a retroceder.
Private businesses, both big and small, have come out against Mamdani's idea due to this exact concern. But at the scale he's currently proposing,
1 in each borough, so 5 in total, would cost the city $60 million.
Experts like Cather say the plan wouldn't be very effective.
When you're talking about just 5 grocery stores, that's not enough to really drive the price down. I think New Yorkers access food in so many ways. I just don't see that level of threat for the private grocery stores. Something more like 20 across the city, that would maybe make a meaningful impact.
It's unclear exactly how Mamdani's plan would scale up, a key detail for it to have a measurable impact. And even if it does eventually expand, questions around both logistics and cost remain.
Take a look at Kamala Harris' response when asked if she endorses Mamdani. It really doesn't sound enthusiastic at all. She says she supports the nominee, skirts around praising his policy vision, and then pivots to talking about other races. That's not a full-throated backing. It's a hedged, politically safe maneuver meant to mollify critics rather than to champion radical change. That hesitation is telling. It signals that many Democrats see Mamdani's ideas, his so-called socialism, as too disruptive to back openly, even if those ideas directly address the city's suffering. Democrats have, in many cases, failed Mamdani by refusing to lean into the policies he's proposing. Policies that would shift power away from entrenched corporate interests toward working people. They fear the backlash from donors, the risk to their own careers, and the disruption to the status quo, so they stay half in the fold while deploying vague critiques of feasibility. Meanwhile, the chokehold of lobbyists and big money over the Democratic apparatus is no conspiracy, it's structural. Many of the Democrats opposing Mamdani are precisely the same ones getting heavyweight contributions from real estate developers, corporate landlords, big retailers, and finance interests that dread the idea of public grocery stores, rent freezes, or taxing the rich. These groups have vested stakes in maintaining high rents, expensive food chains, and minimal regulation. So when Mamdani proposes municipal grocery chains, massive expansion of social services, stronger tenant protections, and systemic checks on predatory capital, those lobbyists go into defense mode. They pressure, fund, and whisper to elected officials. The result? A Democratic establishment that pretends to unite, but in practice punishes boldness. and in doing so betrays the very constituents who are desperate for change.
Arguably the fastest rising star right now in Democratic politics is Zohran Mamdani, who is going to be elected mayor of New York City, and probably in a landslide if the polls are anything to go by. Lots of mainline Democrats have been very shy about his candidacy. They seem somewhat flummoxed by his success. As a sort of talent spotter in the Democratic Party, what do you think of him and his candidacy? And what do you think of mainline Democratic shyness and agitation about the prospect that he's going to win?
Look, as far as I'm concerned, he's the Democratic nominee and he should be supported.
Do you endorse his candidacy?
I support the Democrat in the race, sure. But let me just say this. He's not the only star. I know that, he's in New York, and I know New Yorkers think they're the center of the world, and here we are in New York having this interview.
It is the biggest city in the country.
And I love New York, as the saying goes. I really do. But, there are people like Barbara Drummond in Mobile, Alabama, Helena Moreno in New Orleans. They're all running for mayor, too, and they are stars. So I hope that we don't so over-index on New York City that we lose sight of the stars throughout our country who are right now running for mayor and many other offices, governor, and so on. So that's where I am.
Me, when I'm Kamala Harris and I can't support a really good candidate for the mayor of New York because I accept $9 million from AIPAC. Way to go. Way to go, Democrats. Gotta love it. This is what it's not left versus right, guys. It's not. Republican politicians and Democratic politicians both take money from AIPAC for the most part. I think we should definitely be showing as much support as we're able to for politicians who do not take money from AIPAC, because those politicians are actually interested in the American people's ideals, not any other country's ideals, not any other business's ideals. If they're accepting money from big business or other countries, that's a red flag.
Do you support Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state?
I support Israel's right to exist as a state with equal rights. I believe that every state...
Why not as a Jewish state?
Because I'm not comfortable supporting any state that has a hierarchy of citizenship on the basis of religion or anything else. I think that in the way that we have in this country, equality should be enshrined in every country in the world. That's my belief.
He slayed that answer, right? He slayed it. How are you gonna attack him on that? I want it to operate like America does. Doesn't matter what your religion is, what your race is, your culture is, everyone's treated equally. That's not the case over there in Jerusalem.
Imagine you said that. Can we have a white state? Or can we at least keep Italy to just Italians? Like when I go and get a bowl of pasta, can some dude with a big ass pot belly and a funny accent make it? If you say that, you're racist.
Yeah.
And you're anti-Semitic.
Zohran Mamdani is canceling a debate, a mayoral debate, that was supposed to be on a ABC owned and operated station in New York, because he believes in what true freedom of speech is, not in bowing down to a dictator.
Let's cut out the middleman. Why should I debate Donald Trump's puppet when I could debate Donald Trump himself? If Donald Trump is serious about this, he should come to New York City. We can have as many debates as he wants about why he is cutting SNAP benefits for hungry New Yorkers just to fund tax cuts for his billionaire donors.
This is what courage looks like. This is what courage looks like him or not.
Nobody's doing it like him.
Do not send us any more money. We can't take any more of your money. Truly, you need to stop.
The reason why he's telling his supporters to stop sending money is because he's already reached the $8 million spending cap that a candidate in the race can already spend. This is how I know he's gonna win, because during the primary, he did the exact same thing. He raised the spending cap of $8 million, all from 18,000 small dollar donations, which makes Mamdani the first candidate in the mayoral race to reach the cap for donations. This is what makes him so over. He already updated his website saying he's no longer selling any more merch, that you can find print-at-home posters and button templates here for free, that you can't donate by check, you can't donate by credit card, and there's no more fundraising activities. Instead of telling his supporters to donate money, he's telling them to donate their time. That's how he won the Democratic primary. He told his supporters to stop donating money and instead donate their time in canvassing, in phone banking, in text banking. He had a 50,000 strong volunteer army pulled off, which was the largest volunteer operation in New York City history. This is the exact definition of servant leadership. A literal philosophy where the leader's primary focus is on serving and supporting the growth and well-being of their team and other stakeholders rather than on their own power or personal gain. Here's the thing, Americans don't know what that looks like nor feels like because it seems like every elected official is always out for their own personal gain. And even though it's good for us, and even though it's exactly what we need, because it's foreign, it's scary to us. Add to that the American and westernized propaganda that we should be scared of him because he's Muslim.